Welcome to Saturday versus Sunday. I'm Jeff Dover. With me is John Barman. Let's talk football.
Let's talk football. We're going to cover Monday night. Well, not much to say about it. I'll do a best ever, worst ever here. The whole thing's a worst ever for me.
You made it sound like before we got on air, you're like, "Hey, let's talk about the Monday night reaction," and then there was you were more jazzed about the setup than the actual product.
Yeah, I pulled a fast one on you there, Dover. But before we get going, if you like what we got here, please subscribe. It would really help us out, help grow the channel. Okay, so Monday Night Football looked like every other Chief game all year, save for maybe the fourth quarter where the Ravens at least put up a bit of a fight.
Yeah,
it's just getting to the point where Chief games to me look
the Saints. You mean Saints put up a bit of a fight?
No.
Oh.
The Ravens. Saints did not put up a fight. I'm saying the only game of the year that anyone put up well, I guess the Bengals hung in there with them too.
Gotcha.
But there's an inevitability to the Chiefs.
I thought you said the Saints didn't even put up a fighter, but yeah, I hear what you're saying now.
There's just an inevitability to Chiefs games. They just gonna win, and that's such a bummer because I just don't want to see the Chiefs keep winning everything. And last year, the worst part is last year they didn't come. They lost the opening game. They kind of sputtered. It looked like it was the year that somebody might get him, and nobody got him. And then this year they look better. Now they just look like you're for sure playing a Chiefs game when you're playing the Chiefs. No one else is dictating to them the pace of the game, and they never look like they're going to blow the other team away. By the end of the first half, the score, it was not a big margin, but it felt hopeless for the Saints. Even though it was just like whatever it was, a one.
No, it was 16-7 at the half, and so that's like a two-score game. Like
two-score game.
It's a touchdown and a field goal, and you win. I mean, it's not terrible, but
just felt inevitable that they weren't going to get anywhere.
And it was the first quarter and a half was total dominance by the Chiefs, and it felt like at that point the game was over. I'm interested to see what the ratings were because I definitely lost interest after the first quarter and a half. It's just sort of like, oh, this is what it's going to be like today, and so, which is not a good thing. It's not a good product for the NFL for it to feel like that. And it's and the Saints, they're the big problem. Like, and they talked about it on the broadcast, but they've got a couple of offensive linemen that were injured, and it was readily apparent because if your offensive line is really struggling, you can't run the ball and you can't block the pass rush. So, and that's exactly what the whole game looked like. Alvin Kamara is amazing, and they made him look pedestrian because he had no running lanes, and Carr had no time to pass, and so it only would throw low probability deep balls, and which a couple be connected on. But if he just had more time, like, and it was really striking the difference for when Kansas City had the ball. Because sometimes Kansas City, like the Mahomes would take the snap and he'd look and something was covered. And then he just stood there and he waited for something to open up or then he would run and he had all kinds of time compared to Carr. So there was, it wasn't a fun game to watch. I mean, I guess if you're a Chiefs fan, it would have been, but it wasn't a great NFL game.
No, I can't. All I can think of is it's inevitable. They win. Yeah. They're going to win. And at some point, I obviously don't understand NFL defense. I just do not understand how Travis Kelce, there was one play where he caught, I don't know, an intermediate ball over the middle, and no one was in the picture.
Yes,
on
no
the
one
TV.
was in the picture.
There wasn't a Saint for 20 yards in any direction.
Yeah.
And I get that defenses have assignments and the offense, and Reid's a genius, and you scheme it up that if all of your linebackers and cornerbacks and nickels and whoever else is in there, if they do their assignment correctly, there should in a zone defense, a gap should open up, because in two deep safety the middle's usually open, and I don't even know what coverage they were even in that particular moment. But it still amazes me that NFL defensive coordinators can scheme up a defense where the resulting play is Travis Kelce with no one within 20 yards of him.
Yeah.
How does that keep? I get it. Like him and Mahomes feel their way to the open space.
Yeah.
like just double team them. Two guys on them, like the gunner on a kick on a
Mhm.
kick. Who cares what the rest of the defense is doing? Just two guys, like none of this bracket stuff. Two guys press them everywhere the whole time, and then see if you see if you can see if they can beat you. I just don't get how you can lose sight of their best player and you just do your assignments. Well, I just stuck to my assignment and Travis Kelce's wide open. That's not
Yeah.
good enough. That's just not good enough. And I
No.
know I'm not speaking from experience on how to coordinate a defense, but you and I can just tell the guys, just stick to your assignment and Travis Kelce gets open.
Well,
You
that's
got
sort
to
of
be better than that.
yeah, that's what I was surprised at because if you have a really good running back and a really good tight end, that is really hard. Like just in a football scheme of things, because for a linebacker or a safety to have to cover the tight end and stop the run, that's really challenging. Like I know that. The difference here is that Kansas City does not have a dominant running back. Like they're on the third string guy and someone they just signed in the parking lot before the game. And they're competent, but they're not fantastic, which really speaks to your point, which is like just take Kelsey away then and stop the run with whoever like your other personnel in the defensive line. You know what I mean? And so then make that beat you. Like if the yeah, because that's any defense where it must have been a mistake. It's obviously a blown assignment, but like it's surprising that if your assignment was Kelsey and you missed it, that's a pretty surprising mistake to make at this level of football.
Well, first of all, Kelsey's going to ruin you in zone defense every time.
Yeah.
Like he knows
That
clearly
the
him and Mahomes can feel the opening.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and
Go ahead.
they've talked about that, how much they've worked on that, where he goes just to where the empty space is, and Mahomes knows that he's going to the empty space. He knows where the empty space, and they're on the same page there. So it's not even running the pre-planned route; it's just sort of finding the space, and I'll throw it there, and which would be really tough to defend. I get that, but like you said, there was no one in the picture. You know, that's not
Well,
the
it's not because Kelsey's faster or runs sharper routes.
no.
Like you can put some kind of nickel defender on him who can more or less keep up with him.
Mhm.
And if you need to double him, double him. This bracket stuff clearly doesn't work because that just turns into zone all over again, where
Yeah.
one guy's at some point, one guy's going to pass him off to the other guy, and Kelsey's completely going to find the gap. And
Mhm.
him and Mahomes sense the gap as it's happening, or even before it's happening, and the ball just arrives there. I mean, I guess that's the answer. They can picture it's like the Wayne Gretzky thing. He knows where the opening is before it
Mhm.
happens, and nobody else can seem to anticipate it. The thing is, to your point, they're on their third string running back, who looks great, by the way, Hunt.
Yeah.
Just show up and looks put it this way,
What did they say? He was out for 5 years and came
whatever it
back or
was. I
something?
guess he
It's
kicked a
crazy.
woman. Like what the hell? And yeah.
Which is
But they're
officially on the Saturday Sunday podcast. We don't condone violence
no,
against women.
no.
Continue.
Yeah, continue. They're also down their number one receiver.
Yeah.
So they're down their
Yeah.
number one running back and
Good.
receiver, and you still
Yeah.
can't stop Kelsey at all.
No.
So unless it's like I guess Brady and Gronk were like this, they were essentially unstoppable. So I guess once you sort it out and the two of them have that sense, I remember seeing an interview with Gronk where he said, as a rookie, Brady kept him after practice and they just drilled it and drilled it and drilled it. And at some point, Gronk was like, oh, now I see it how he sees it. So
Hmm.
before Gronkowski was just sticking to his rules. I run a route, I do this, I do this. And then Brady just forced him into like, no, we're gonna arrive at a way where we're always on the same page. And that's when you saw Gronkowski, which was always open,
Mhm.
it just looked just like this. This just looks like
Mhm.
that. And that's what scares me because I think we're in dynasty mode 2.0. We're 100% in the next dynasty.
Mhm.
And the makeup of it is so similar. It's a star quarterback and a star tight end, and you can just do whatever you want with the pieces around it. Because the Patriots, could you even name a running back in that run of the Patriots?
They
Like
had
there
all
was,
kinds of Robert Edwards at one
I
point.
don't,
It was,
I mean, yeah,
but it was like this. It was a revolving door,
like
like
Corey
the
Dillon passed through there.
and with the wide receivers, right? They've had a revolving door with that too.
And
So
when they finally got Randy Moss, they went 18-1 and lost the Super Bowl. Now they
yeah,
set the scoring record. I mean, my goodness, if Mahomes gets his hands on imagine if
yeah.
Devontae Adams showed up, forget about it. Just go do something else with your time. There's no point in watching the
Mm.
NFL at that point. Anyways, I mean, good for the Patriots. Good for the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at this. I can't even tell which one's which. They're just going to win everything.
It's good.
They're going to go on
Back to back Super Bowl wins, and they're starting the season the only 5-0. Well, one of the only two 5-0 teams. So, like you said, I really pick up disheartened and the disappointment in your voice about the NFL because it could be better than this. Like it's the feeling that it's already done is one of the worst feelings in sport, right? That's what makes sport amazing. When, like, in the stuff we talked about at our college reaction show, where
Yeah.
it's like no one saw that coming, or that was an unbelievable performance or something, right? Like
It's getting to the point that if someone beats the Chiefs, they're going to rush the field and rip down the goalposts like
yeah,
Vandy did with Bama. It's like,
that's
my
right.
God, we actually beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
Mahomes looks like he's playing against kids who are just learning football.
Hmm.
Like him and Kelce are just Kelce throwing laterals that not even in the game plan. And
Yeah.
now he does it with such consistency, whether or not that's planned.
Hmm.
It's to the point where you got to be on the alert for it, because he's so open and he's so calm and he just has it figured out that he can run. It's like, I don't know, we're just going to get some more yards. So now you got to deal with basically an option run after the catch.
Hmm.
What is going on? I
I
mean,
feel like
those
that's the second or third time I've seen the hook and ladder run this year,
Well,
which
that
is
wasn't a hook and ladder. He just takes off and he's got a guy with him and he just laterals it whenever he feels like it.
mm,
It's just like, how much more can two guys completely dominate it?
mm.
And I get it. There's a whole team there, and the defense is just ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
they're
and
so good.
I want to give flowers to the offensive line for Kansas City, like, because that it was striking how much time Mahomes had, and New Orleans defense isn't terrible, so that
No,
was that it's a complete team, really, it really
he
is.
just Mahomes just looks like he's going at a completely different speed than everyone else. No
Mm,
one can get anywhere near him. When he scrambles, he doesn't even look like he's running fast, and no one's getting anywhere near him.
mhm,
It's just he's just got it sorted out to a point where I mean, he's playing at the same level as Brady during his dynasty, but in his style. He's not doing the stand in the
yeah,
pocket like a statue thing, which if he wants to, he'd probably do that too. But
yeah,
his style it's so firmly the new era quarterback style where you just can't get a finger on him, and he scrambles so effectively, and he's not like running with his hair on fire. He's just sort of he looks like so relaxed during
mhm,
every play, and he's the one thing that was the microcosm of how much more in control he is than everybody else. I don't know if you remember this. He has a little scramble out to his right, and it's one of those situations where the defender, I don't know if it was an outside linebacker, an end, was between him and whatever's going on behind him. So he's like, do I
mhm,
rush him or do I back off because there's likely someone open behind me? And he
mhm.
was just caught in the middle, and he kind of just moves a little bit toward, and Mahomes was the laziest, just he just flicked it over the guy's head, and it was like my mother could throw it that weekly, and it was just like, yeah, come get me if you want. You come get me, I'm throwing it over your head. You back off.
Mhm.
I'm gonna walk my way to the first down marker. And it was just like, oh, that was the microcosm. He's like, I'm in so much control. It was almost like it was almost like an insulting throw. He couldn't even be bothered to throw it. He just kind of just flicked it over the guy's head. And I was like,
Mhm,
and he didn't need to throw it any harder. That's make it very
mhm.
catchable. And it was just like, oh, I just thought there's no one can beat that.
No,
When
yeah,
you're playing under, you're so much more ahead of who you're against.
mhm,
They have no chance. They just
yeah.
absolutely have no chance.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to, because Worthy is lightning fast, and Mahomes can throw the deep ball. And so there's been a couple like near misses, and there was a penalty, I think, in one point in the game. But when they get on the same page, that has real potential to be a problem, because that's Worthy is an exceptional talent.
That deep ball to Worthy, whether or not he catches it, given how far Mahomes can throw it and how fast that guy is, once or twice a game,
Yeah, has to be
that
in the
is
game
a
plan.
great
Yeah.
strategy. Who cares if he catches it?
Yeah.
He's so fast, and it's such a problem to keep up with him.
Hmm.
Your odds of a pass interference go
Hmm.
way up, because I mean it's desperation at that point.
Hmm.
And or he catches it. Either way, it's a really good thing to try a couple of times a game. And part of the uniqueness there is how goddamn far he can throw that ball.
Yeah. No,
And
he really.
it's a safe move. No safety's getting back there, and he's smart enough to recognize, like, Mahomes isn't going to throw it into double coverage. He'll understand.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
now I got him. Let's take this shot.
Hmm.
Versus Carr throwing it into triple coverage. Like, what was he doing?
Yeah. No,
It's
there's
just The gap. Oh my God. I said this on one of our other shows. The gap between the Chiefs and everyone else just looks like it's getting bigger.
Yep.
Anyways, good for the Chiefs. I mean, they're the class of it, and every other team and every other coach. That's if you can't deal with that, you have no chance. That's what you're up against. Now, you got anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Well, that's our Monday night review, and stick around for our previews. Oh, and we're gonna cover the Robert Saleh thing in another video.